Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, I want to take a look at the Switch 2 launch title, Mario Kart World, obviously for the Nintendo Switch 2. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage, I'll have a link down in the description down below, or you can click on the card that will appear up on this video, assuming you watch this on either YouTube or Patreon. And for parents out there, it's worth pointing out that Mario Kart World is rated E for everyone, all ages, by the ESRB rating system. Ever since the first Mario Kart premiered back, I believe it was in 1992, for the Super Nintendo under the name Super Mario Kart World, it's sort of been a staple to see a Mario Kart game basically around the time a new system of theirs has launched, though. And over the years, there have been some people like certain Mario Kart games, though. For me, I figured, to me, my favorite entries in the Mario Kart series has always been Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64, because one of the reasons is I like the soundtrack in Bowser's Castle, plus I like the course as well, and Mario Kart World for the Nintendo Wii. I believe that was in 2010. I could be wrong on the date, though, but again, the soundtrack for Bowser's Castle, and of course the course itself, though. But what was interesting during around the Wii U going to the Switch era, when Nintendo was moving away from the Wii U and everything, was we did get a Mario Kart game, but not in the way that a lot of people was thought. We never got an original one. Instead, we got was a port of Mario Kart 8 under the title Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And that one, despite being a port of a Wii U title, managed to do very well on the Nintendo Switch. You usually see it pop up on like the Satana charts, or like, you know, the top charts for, you know, best-selling games for Nintendo and all. It almost reached the status of what we saw with Elder Scrolls Skyrooms and Grand Theft Auto 5, where they just keep selling and selling that game. That game never died or something like that and all. So, and of course, we also got surprisingly some new courses, even though Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was basically more like a complete edition to a certain extent. So when Nintendo started showing off the Switch 2 in January, we didn't really get any gameplay footage, except for one game that they showed, which looked like, at the time, a new entry into the Mario Kart series. And we would learn more about that during around the Switch 2 Direct in April, and under the name Mario Kart World, which also got a Direct as well, as it also introduced, ranging from the idea of the free roaming part and basically some courses here and there. And after spending some time with Mario Kart World, I will say this. Do I enjoy Mario Kart World? Yes. Do I think it's the best entry in the Mario Kart series? I would say, at least in my view, no. I enjoy it, but it may not be perfect, at least in my book and everything. So I'm going to break it down into the pros and the cons, and we'll start first with the pros. And as far as the pros go, though, I will say visually, the game looks good. Nintendo is known for unique, for art styles for a lot of their games and everything, and Mario Kart World certainly delivers. I definitely like the look of some of the courses, especially when you're doing the free roaming or open world part. Indeed. My favorite course I like that they designed was the DK Spaceport, which is basically kind of a different take on the classic original level found in the Donkey Kong arcade game and all. And even seeing some characters, like basically two in particular. One are these like Easter Island stone-like creatures that got like a different look, which I haven't seen since the original, get this, the original Super Mario Land that was released back on the Game Boy in 1989. That was sort of interesting indeed. But in either case, the art style looks nice. Some of the characters look nice as well. Somewhat mixed on Donkey Kong's design, but not something I'm losing sleep over and all. But in either case, visually, the game looks good and all. The next thing, of course, is the gameplay, and it does follow, the tired and true formula if you've played past Mario Kart games in the past, though. Basically, you collect coins to sort of help increase speed of your cart. Select different characters. Each has their strengths and weaknesses. Of course, later on you would add stuff such as picking different carts to see which cart you think works best for certain characters and all. And of course, items as well. You have items like mushrooms to boost the speed of your carts, or offensive or defensive items like banana peels, red and green shells, the dreaded blue shell, I think we all remember that, the horn that could be useful against the blue shells and all. And of course, if you're behind the pack, you might you have a better chance of getting more powerful items. If you're in the front of the pack, you probably won't get a lot of the powerful items though, although you do have a better shot getting the horn and everything like that. In other words, it follows the tired and true formula of being that miscellaneous racing game, not something to be taken serious or aimed to be like a serious racing game like Gran Turismo or Forza is or anything like that. It's what it is. It's a miscellaneous racing game, and still fun and still enjoyable even after all these years. Nevertheless, though, so yeah, I think the gameplay is good, and I also like the idea of driving from one course to the other course. Indeed, I thought that was kind of neat that they added that in though, and I can see why they call it, Mario Kart World in general and all. The next thing I do want to talk about is the frame rate, and I will say the frame rate pretty much, at least based on my time with the game, ran at basically 60 frames per second, and I didn't see really any major issue. Even when I went online to do Knockout King or the battle mode to a certain degree, the game pretty much ran at 60 frames per second, so I didn't really see any major issues that was there or anything like that. The only time the game ran at 30 frames per second is when you're in the free roaming part and go to the binoculars and use those. That's where you kind of see the frame rate dip to I've heard 30 frames per second and all, but outside of that, I didn't really see any dips at all in the frame rate or anything like that. So it has maintained basically maintains a 60 frames per second. And I think that is certainly good indeed. I haven't heard of anything about 120 frames per second or anything like that, though that would be interesting to see if that ever happens. I've yet to spot anything in at least Mario Kart World as far as I'm aware of though. And last but not least, I will say that while the game does have plenty of multiplayer options ranging from the main courses to main courses to verse mode, battle mode and all, I have to say Knockout King has to be my favorite mode so far though. I like the concept and the idea. It's basically the whole idea is that you have to race to stay on top in order to complete the race and the finish in first place and all. They'll tell you at first start you have to be either at 20th place or above to continue the race, and then the next one it may be 16th place or above, or it might be 8th place or above, or 4th place or above though. So if you're under that number, you're out, but if you are above that number, you can continue racing nevertheless though. Doing it online though can add some challenges, especially when you're going up against other players, particularly some that have probably better skills than I do and everything. But in either case though, I do have to say Knockout King is definitely probably my favorite mode in Mario Kart World, along with the Grand Prix and all. And it would be very interesting to see if they expand upon that, maybe in a future Mario Kart game one day down the road. Most likely will be when Nintendo releases their next system and all, but still, I would like to see them sort of expand upon that idea. I do think it is a fun mode in Mario Kart World and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, which is the cons. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video, for my video review of Mario Kart World from the Nintendo Switch 2. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And there are really 3 cons I could think of that have popped up in regards of my thoughts on Mario Kart World for the Nintendo Switch 2. The first one has to do with certain characters and everything like that. Now, The roster for Mario Kart World is certainly big, and there are definitely a lot of characters that they have put in this game. And I certainly don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, though. But I do question some of the characters in here. Like, you have, like, basically the Pokey, the cactus in there, which I think was sort of an odd choice, to even the cow. Not saying I'm agreeing with the situations with PETA and everything like that, just sort of like the background character, like the cow and all. I just feel like that there are certain characters I think would have been great to add to this roster and all. I mean, like, why not any of the characters from the Smithy games, from, like, you know, Super Mario RPG, Legends of the Seven Star? Why not say characters, or like the other characters like from the Mario and Luigi RPG, like ranging from Superstar Saga to the current one, to be exact. Why not, you know, maybe some of the characters like from the recent release Donkey Kong Bonanza being in here, or the characters from like Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, or even the characters from, like, say, the Wario Land series, like Captain Syrup, to be exact, though. So I do think there are certain characters I think unfortunately are not in this, and it would have been nice if they had added them into this roster and all. Now, it is possible down the road Nintendo could do that. We could see DLC characters probably make an appearance in it, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen. But for now, though, it's not that the roster is bad. I just think there are some characters that would have been nice if Nintendo had added them in into the game and everything like that. Like I said, it's possible it could be down the road they could add DLC to it, but for now, this is where it is and everything. The next thing I do want to talk about is the open world free roaming part. Now, this is basically, you could pretty much like drive everywhere you want to and everything like that. And there are certainly some things you can engage in. There are ranging from finding coins that can be used to sort of unlock new carts and everything, to, you know, like driving, earning some in-game achievements to a certain degree, to even like doing stuff like finding hidden secrets, to even P-switches, which offer like different varieties of missions and everything like that. I mean, it's okay. It's just not really perfect or anything like that. Some call this as sort of like laying the foundation for possibly a future Mario Kart game that used the free roaming open world, and that is a possibility. That could be helping setting the stage, though. But for now, I just sort of mix on the approach they took with the free world, open world, free roaming part of the Mario Kart world or anything and all. It's not bad. It's just not really anything great or anything like that. It's not. You don't see the kind of structure you saw like when, you know, the 1997 N64 release of Diddy Kong Racing, how that was like, you know, how that one was set up and everything. You're not seeing something like that for Mario Kart World. So I'm just very mixed on this approach, though. It's not terrible. It's just not, and I would say it's not, at least in my view, not memorable or anything like that. Again, things could change, and they could be updates or DLCs to it to add more to the open world free roaming part. That's always a possibility, but I'm just sort of mixed on the way they handled it and everything. And last but not least, I do want to talk about is I'm mixed on the food item part. Now, during some of the races or free roaming, depending on which one you do, there are certainly food or to-go bags you can get in the race, though. And when you get these can at least unlock new skins for your character and everything like that, or new clothing and all. And to me, it's not bad. It's certainly better than, say, what we've seen in the past, where some companies or some gaming companies out there sometimes get a little too greedy in terms of saying, you want this costume, you have to pay this amount of money to get this cosmetic DLC and everything like that. So it is certainly better, but I've seen before many times where even if you grab one, though, you usually will either revert back to your original costume or any of the costumes you unlock, and it almost kind of makes the food item kind of rendered useless to a certain degree. It's not a terrible idea or anything like that. It's just a little bit just like, and nothing really special or anything like that. I mean, some of the costumes aren't bad, like seeing Wario dressed up as like a road warrior from maybe, or looks like a character from maybe the Mad Max movies and all. That looks kind of interesting indeed. To seeing some of the cast costumes like Princess Daisy dressed up in sort of like almost dressed up like Jasmine from the Disney Aladdin movies to a certain extent and everything. So, I mean, there's certainly it's certainly not a bad idea. It's just, it kind of feels a little bit useless once you unlock all the costumes and everything like that. So I'm sort of mixed on the use of the food items in Mario Kart World and all. Overall, I would say I did come away pleased with Mario Kart World, and I do think it is a good launch title for the Switch 2. It's by no means perfect, but it's by no means terrible in any shape and any form. At its best, though, the visuals of the game look really good. I do enjoy them. The gameplay is enjoyable, though, especially for those who have been fans of Mario Kart, who's been a fan of the Mario Kart series, though. It follows mostly the Tire and True formula. The game runs well at 60 frames per second, which is certainly good. And Knockout King is definitely, I think, one of my favorite modes in Mario Kart World, though, and it will be very interesting to see if Nintendo expands upon this mode going forward into the future. But at its worst, though, there are some characters that I would have liked to have seen in the character selection when you pick, your driver and all. I think some that I think deserves another shot. I am mixed on the open world free roaming part of the game, as I mentioned, though. Again, not terrible. It certainly lays the foundation for an idea. It's just, it's not exactly perfect at all. And the food item approach, again, like I said, I'm mixed. It's better than the approach we've seen from other companies, like pay this amount to get this cosmetic DLC and everything, but it's still not perfect at all, so not perfect at the very least. But in either way, though, I still came away pleased with Mario Kart World nevertheless. Do I think it's the best Mario Kart game out there? In my personal view, the answer is no. I still think Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Wii still remains one of my favorite. But did I enjoy this game? Yes, I did enjoy it, though. I do think it is a fun game indeed, and I think it is a good launch title for the Switch 2 and everything, and I think it is a very good, enjoyable game nevertheless. That said, while I do think this is a good launch title for the Switch 2, I would stop short in saying it's the best launch title for a Nintendo's new system, compared to in the past with, the original, Super Nintendo with Super Mario World, the N64 with Super Mario 64, and of course, Switch 1 or the original Nintendo Switch when The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild basically launched with that system back in 2017. So it's not the best launch title out there, but it's still a good launch title to have nevertheless. And as I said, fans of the series will probably enjoy Mario Kart World. There might be some modes you might like. There might be some modes you might hate, though. And given Nintendo's track record in terms of how they release any Mario Kart games and all, my guess is that they're going to this one is going to stick with us for a long time or throughout the Switch 2's life cycle, which means when a Switch 3 or the Switch 2 successor happens, though, odds are there will probably be a new Mario Kart when that comes out. But until then, though, I would say for a launch title, this is good. And for a new Mario Kart game, I will say this one was enjoyable, at least from my perspective and all. Okay, this concludes my review of Mario Kart World from the Nintendo Switch 2. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Mario Kart World as a launch title for the Switch 2? Do you think it was a good launch title to have? Do you think Nintendo made the right decision to have this as their launch title and all? Do you think Mario Kart World is a good game? Do you think it's the best entry in the Mario Kart World, or do you think it's the worst? Are there certain modes that you like? Did you enjoy Knockout King, or are there other modes you enjoyed, though? Were there certain characters you would have liked to have seen in Mario Kart World? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this button, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me, Patreon, or Steamlabs. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this either on YouTube or Patreon. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!